Is it? Shit. Are we good? All right, cool. Hey guys, I'm Danny with Bluestribute. I'm here with Jesse Hasek, lead singer of 10 Years. I'm super stoked to be here. You guys have been one of my favorite bands for years and years. Haven't missed a show in Denver, so thank you so much for doing this, for
no problem, man.
meeting us.
It's crazy to even think about how long an existence we've had in this fickle entertainment business.
Definitely.
Like we've gone through the growing pains of working our asses off to get to a certain point, and then success hits. It's like a skyrocket. And then it comes in waves, and you have to, a lot of the keeping up with the mainstream, being on major labels and this and that. I mean, they were good to us, exposed us well to the world, but what's so funny and ironic about the way these labels operate is we were the big fish in the small pond, and that's how we got out of Knoxville. And they came to us. We had done showcases in the past for other labels, but we decided just to dominate our town. And we got in with the radio stations. We did all the legwork we could possibly do, promoting our shows, and we dominated our own town, and we drew so much buzz that they came to us. And then we did Autumn Effect, and Wasteland just came out of nowhere, and no one saw it. I mean, then they go, we need another, like on our second record, they go, we need another Wasteland, we need another single. It's like, well, no shit. we know we need like hits. We know this is at the end of the day, you're selling something that's a product. But it just sucks that they find you for who you are, and you get bound for that. And you have success from that. Then they try to tell you to start paying attention to what's currently popular, and make you chase after that whole thing. And we had some, like I said, some growing pains with that on a couple of records. They're very self-explanatory, like Division and
That's
Feeding
one thing
the
I
Wolves.
love. You talk about the waves. You see that, you hear it in your music, see it in your album titles. I kind of just had to, because it's always the music has always been a personal thing to me, and a therapy and art. It's not just. I mean, it's a job, and you do create a product, and it's a way of life. But I'm way more concerned, or more focused on the emotion or the message conveyed, more so than living the lifestyle. The lifestyle is just like, I go home and I unplug from all this, and I'm just my own dude that goes to the skate park, does artwork, and just tries to not even think about what my job is. I like to be normal. That's killer. Well, we all appreciate you being out on the road doing this for so long. I love it. Love seeing you guys. Let's talk about the new track. Miscellanea just came out. They've been blasting that on Octane. I'm in a rental car right now, lucky enough to have Sirius. And
that's awesome.
Every time I turn it on, I feel like they're playing you guys.
Man, they really jumped on board early this time, which is really cool, because it sucks when you have like a record that you feel like is not fully cohesive, like a record like Feeding the Wolves. I'll be totally straightforward with, like, that's my least favorite cohesive start to finish record, because they were trying to make us write this hit.
Feeding the Wolves.
And that's where it do have it very bipolar. It was very pissed off and angry and talking about it, and then all of a sudden there was like this ballad. And it was just, you could hear strictly where we were just trying to get the budget to record the album. And then when we finally got out from under that Iron Curtain, I guess, Minus was more like the Autumn Effect. We could have full continuity of it. But Minus didn't, in success to everyone, the label and stuff didn't. We were our own label, but our distributors and stuff, they were expecting more. And it seems like this record already out the gate, we're working a different, there's a lot of marketing to it, there's a lot of, the politics to it, but just right out the gate, first impressions, people are jumping on Miscellanea better than I expected.
That's killer.
And we were still up in the air on which single we wanted to lead with. Because the other one that was right there as a contender was the song Untitled Chapter, From Birth to Burial. And this record is pretty much a sum of our whole existence from the beginning to now, with just how you feel when you have been doing it this long, and as much as we managed to get a lot of loyalty out of fans, and really hone in our own little underground thing, and we're totally. I've already surpassed all my expectations of success, but also to realize that unless you are a huge rock star or whatever, that in the long run you're going to have to always be creative and figure out different things to do. And it's kind of like 10 years later, that feeling of always the entertainment business keeping you on edge of, you know, your stability. That stability. There's not much stability in the entertainment business. You just have to. That's why I feel it's best just to be true to yourself and let it ride the way it does.
You guys have done well. So I got a little freaked out when I saw the poster from Birth to Burial tour. Kind of nice to hear. You know, you're talking about the title track of the album, name of the album.
Yeah.
What's the burial?
Well, it's just sort of like the whole, like, you could look at it two ways. You could look at it from start to finish, but I look at it from birth to burial. This is now, I feel like we've gotten to a place where this is our existence, this is our existence of, like, we can do this till we die, you know, we can, metaphorically speaking, or however, until the passion is gone, or until we're just, you know, and this day and age, I feel like a lot of bands, instead of just officially disbanding or breaking up or doing anything like that, sometimes we just take a hiatus and people do side projects and different things.
Yeah.
Those are all definitely possibilities in the future, but to have this kind of welcome back or this kind of response this early on really helps that shaky feeling of, like, how much longer do we have in this business? Because it is a business, and you have to keep up with new bands coming up, and you know you're getting older when the fashion starts to change and you don't really relate, and then the television and then the music and everything starts to change a little bit. You're like, wow, that's pretty 80s. I remember that. Yes. And then it's like the forefront. So we just try to be us, and I feel like there is a place for that.
Yeah.
And rock and roll isn't like what it used to be in the 90s when it was the mainstream, and that's what MTV was, which I'm fine with, but I'm happy to say that I grew up with that as my influence. But rock's not dead. It's just it's more of I call it a boutique style. You can go and just really, the internet allows you to really indulge in any flavor of music you want, you know, and that's why we have an existence. We'll always have a place.
So talking about, you know, other bands, one of my favorite bands was Fair Midland. A few years back. Yes. I got to see them twice before they kind of, you know, fizzled out. I saw them with Ryan. You know, your current bass player just killed it. I was like, oh my god, that bass player.
He's a man.
Got to chat with him outside, you know, in Colorado Springs a couple years back. What has he brought to the table writing wise? Because that bass line coming out of the chorus and Miscellanea, just killer.
I mean, the thing, our writing dynamic is pretty wild because we always have the open door policy, and we always have, like, everybody in throwing ideas in. But he lives in Vegas. Our guitar player that used to be in Maylene and the Sons of Disaster lives in Florida. Our touring drummer lives in Los Angeles. Tater and I live in Knoxville. But we still have all the originals in Knoxville too, Lewis and Brian and Matt.
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff is a little bit of an open door policy, but it was just random ideas flying around. Who really started that bass line was Brian.
Really?
It was just, it's everybody just taking every different angle, and there's no, like, one set person does one thing. And Brian, we recorded Minus the Machine in his studio, and I would be underselling him tremendously if I didn't stress the level of talent that guy has. He really is, like, you can throw an idea at him and he'll make it to a four-course meal.
Just being able to switch from
he's a Dave Grohl. Brian he's the guy that you can. We're all really good at coming up with ideas and parts, but he's the guy that can turn it into a piece.
Well, that's good to hear you say touring drummer. You know, it's kind of weird seeing the pictures pop up on Facebook.
Yeah.
Where's Brian? You know?
And Brian, to be truthful with the whole thing, he just got to a point with his family life where he'd gone through some families up and down stuff. He had a changing of some. He got remarried, and he's just recently had a little boy less than a year ago, and then in the middle of doing this record from Birth to Burial, he had a premature little girl. So I mean, he's doing all the studio work, but with everything he's got on his plate at home, that's why.
It's great to hear he's still involved.
He's tremendously. He was a very, very big factor in this record.
Definitely.
Very much so. And he always has been. And he's the one that sought out and got me in the band in the beginning, and kind of took this shy, insecure kid and developed him into who I am now, being confident in being me and knowing that I can't be these other rock guys or these other vocalists, these other things. Just be the best at what you can be.
Yeah.
And that's how you own it, and that's your own voice, you know. And he was really good at that and helping me with that. And he is. He's a force when it comes to writing. But our touring guys, man, it's two different worlds. It really is. Like there's like the two different 10-year sides. And Kyle Mayer, the guy we have out playing drums with us, used to play drums when Brian moved to guitar.
Okay.
Feeding the Wolves.
Gotcha. So
he's been around. He just
while.
came back because Brian he couldn't anymore due to family. And the great thing about Kyle is because he moved to LA to pursue a musical career.
Mm-hmm.
When he came out and we were a little road worn and jaded, and sometimes you take things for granted. You go home, you feel beat up. He came out with such a passion and such like a whole new feeling that he sparked us. That he brought that good feeling back, and then we didn't know it. We didn't really know his ability as a talent too. And we were doing this acoustic tour.
Yeah.
And he just out of nowhere he goes, "Oh yeah, I went to music school for piano, so I can play all that stuff."
I saw that. That was great.
Well, all right, dude. So he's a great touring entity to have.
Excellent. Well, talk to us about the new album. When's that coming out?
I think right now they're saying April 21st.
Cool.
It was going to be a little earlier, but they're just trying to, I guess, we got a actual official music video coming out to Miscellanea.
Great.
There's some sort of like lyric video out there right now.
Saw that.
Which is pretty cool. Turned out cool.
Definitely.
A little different take on it.
I see a lot of bands doing that.
More, I guess, for the viewer.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just, we're doing this record. I mean, we're done with the record, but we're doing this tour to sort of kickstart the promotion of it before it comes out. And we've got, unfortunately, I just found out that our buddies from Knoxville we brought on tour with us for their first national tour, their van just broke down.
I heard that walking in. That's too bad.
And go check their stuff out anyway. They're an amazing band. They're a great band. And then, from start to finish, the bill is pretty entertaining. It's awesome. So we're looking forward to just getting back out here and knocking the dust off and trying to get back up there on stage.
That's great. How many songs are we going to hear tonight?
We've been working on 3, and one is, of course, Miscellanea. The next one is the From Birth to Burial title track, which that's one of our band favorites. And then there's another one that's just we really stretched the envelope, going as heavy as we've possibly gone and lighter, really heavier. This is probably the heaviest record we've made,
Killer.
I think, but still keeping the 10 years melody. But I mean, you'll hear certain stuff and go, is that Jesse? And there's a song called Triggers and Tripwires that's like that, and it's really
that's
heavy.
killer. I love the chorus in Miscellanea. It sounds like you're really just pushing your voice.
Yeah, I'm just trying to.
Great way,
I've gone from the whole Autumn Effect thing where it was, it had sort of like that angelic, dreamy, ethereal thing, which I love. I think it's very appropriate for that record. To Division being a little grittier, a little more sort of. The sound was almost a little more 70s sound in a way.
Well, I remember. I think I want to say I had you guys on MySpace, and you put out an EP version of All Your Lies, and it was heavy, and it was nasty. And then the album comes out and it's gone,
Yeah.
And
we
went
through phases.
Feel.
We were actually started writing that record with a different producer, and we felt like we'd already been down that road because that was the same guy we did Killing All Holds You with.
Yeah.
So we just really, it's daring and it's ballsy. Sometimes it works and it's a pleasant surprise. Sometimes we fall short and miss the mark, but we always have to be ballsy enough to try something.
Yeah.
And that's where I can honestly, happily say that we've done that on every single record.
Mm-hmm. Well, can't wait to hear the new record. It sounds like a home run so far.
We're pleased with it. We're very pleased with it. I have no negative things to say about it. But being able to be our own label and have the support through distribution with major labels, being like a subsidiary through them,
Has that been better?
It's been way. There are absolutely no cooks in the kitchen. We are just the members are the only ones that. I mean, granted, we send it over and they'll put it out regardless. We don't have to have approvals for budgets.
Right.
But when they hear something and they get super excited about it, that makes their team work harder.
Yeah.
And when they heard Miscellanea and From Birth to Burial, they were like, "You guys, you're treading on new water here." And
that's
the whole team got excited. So it kind of feels like it's a throwback to all the way in the beginning when that energy.
That's great. When does Birth the Burial going to come out?
You know, I don't know. It all just depends on, they ride the cycle of the first one and then they sort of just switch them, you know, the changing of the guard. But we're definitely pushing that one to be the second single.
Are you doing all the artwork on this one too?
I did do the illustrations for the cover, and then a buddy of ours that does. Unfortunately, I'm such a tragic old school that I'm a bit of a caveman on the computer. I've learned enough to do emails and attach files, but digital art I'm not the greatest at. I'm still hands-on, glue, Sharpie, paint, you know. So I'll come up with it and then I'll send it all over to them so they can actually make it into a booklet. So
that's killer.
Yeah, there's a lot more illustrations done, hands-on illustrations done by me on this one.
Awesome. Well, can't wait to see everybody pick up a copy, listen to the track, buy the track on iTunes, support these guys. They're still just kicking ass.
And we appreciate it.
One of my all-time favorite bands. So Jesse, thank you so much for taking the time.
No problem.
Really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. See you guys in the future.